We live yet? There we go. Excellent. Good deal. Okay. Let me go to my chat app. There we go. Welcome to Paleontologizing, everybody. It's so good to have you here. Got another exciting jacketing stream today for you. Digging up this dinosaur. Let's see who's here in chat. Let's see here. Lenina, how are you doing? Welcome. Good afternoon to you too. Cortes do Tobias. Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's great to have you here. Here, let me introduce myself real quick because I'm sure we're going to have new people watching the VOD later on. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. And I stream dinosaur paleontology here on Twitch. It is summertime, and so what does a dinosaur paleontologist do during the summertime? Usually he or she or they are out digging dinosaurs, and so that's what I'm doing out here in western Wyoming. Out in the western Wyoming desert, streaming via satellite right now. There's the solar panel, the battery, the satellite dish, and the wireless router there. We're digging up a dinosaur here, a new species of duckbill dinosaur. New species, most likely. The rocks that we're working in here from the late Cretaceous period, the Almond Formation, pretty obscure set of rocks here. There are no dinosaurs that have been named from this formation. So almost anything that we find here is going to be new, including this duckbill dinosaur that I'll show you in just a minute. A few minutes ago, I flipped the big limb bone jacket, and turns out the thing is a tibia. An enormous tibia from a duckbill dinosaur. So I'm going to be top jacketing that today, and you're going to get to watch. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Dr. Tara, welcome. Zorox, Winged Kitten. T-Sec Guy, Brow. Ramen War Cult. Hello, everybody. It is good to have you here. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, we're going to have a fun stream. Let's see, it's going to be at least, well, I don't know, maybe about an hour and a half, something like that. Yeah, hopefully these do not turn into storm clouds. I do see a little bit of rain over there on the horizon, but hopefully that'll miss us. Looks like it will. These clouds are kind of drifting north. Anyway, yeah, let me know if you've got any questions or anything. Izzy, what's shaking? Good to have you here. 5280 Andy, welcome. Relo Rolo, Stink, good to have you. And Claire Burr, little birdie told me it is your birthday today. So happy birthday to you, Claire. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And thank you for being here. Thank you for spending part of it with us here on Paleontologizing. Thank you for everything you do, Claire. And happy birthday. Yeah. But yeah. Oliver says, has it rained at all yet? Well, you've been there? Yeah, it rained almost every day for like the first week or so. First few days we were here, it rained every day. And that was a real pain in the butt. But we haven't really had much rain since last Friday. Friday we had some decent rain. This past Friday. Today's Tuesday. So it was a while ago. But yeah, weather's been really beautiful since then. So we've been pretty lucky. And it's nice and cloudy right now, which is good to keep it from getting hot. But it's not so great for the solar panel up there. Let's go take a look at our setup. Yeah. Darth Goof, thank you for the 22 months. That is splendid, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Darth Goof. So right now, we've got the solar panel hooked up to a solar battery, which is running the router and the satellite dish for the Starlink, which is how I'm broadcasting to you via satellite right now. Yeah, that's what you got to do out here when there's no electricity and no internet. You make those things yourself, sort of. You bring it with you. So yeah. And the only reason that I can afford any of this stuff is because of your incredible support, chat. And the reason that we're out here in the first place and have food to eat and, a truck to rent and gasoline to drive it with, that's because of this community also helping fund this dinosaur dig. So thank you so much, everybody. It was like $7,000. Almost all of the money that we have came from you, the viewers, and cannot express my gratitude enough. How's my audio, by the way? I hope it's okay. I can turn it up or down if you'd like. Hope Hopefully the wind isn't too bad. I think that wind weasel's doing its job. Matt M33, Cliff Alistair McLean, Steely Dan, Jim, welcome. Yeah. Jim says, why didn't you have the solar panel hooked up during your other streams? Because the battery was already charged. Today the battery started off at like 13%. So I've been charging it all day, and it's now at... Well, we'll go check and see what it's at right now. Let's have a look. There's the quarry right there. There's Eric, who showed up yesterday. And then there's Fisher. They're hard at work, digging away, looking for more bits of our hadrosaur. Here's our solar generator. And we're at 44%. Ooh, boy. Yeah. So we're losing power. Starlink is using 49 watts. It's only taking 8 watts coming in. 57 watts. Shoot. But yeah, that's because it's cloudy right now. Hopefully the sun will start coming in again soon, and we'll have some more juice going into this. So yeah. And all hail Elon Musk for this opportunity. I wouldn't say so, T-Sec guy. This is the 3rd year that I've tried to use the Starlink. Didn't work the first 2 years. They gave me a defective one, and frankly their customer service has been abysmal. I am very, very much not impressed. Anyway, it's working now, so cross your fingers it continues to do so. But yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Let's see. Hey, Jonah Thizzle. Welcome. You've always wanted to do paleontology? Well, now you get to watch paleontology being done live. We're digging up what's almost certainly a new species of duckbill dinosaur. And, yeah, you're going to get to watch some of that in just a minute. I'm waiting for some more people to come in, and then I'll start top-jacketing that thing. But if anybody's got any questions in the meantime, now is the time to ask before we get elbows deep into some plaster, making a field jacket to protect this on its way back to the laboratory. But yeah, and the jaw did make it down the hill. I got some good pictures of that last night, Cactus Jack. That jaw is, it is safely in my tent back in camp, sitting on my cot. Yeah, exciting stuff. Big lower jaw from a big duckbill dinosaur. That's from yesterday's site. That site is called Skull Ridge because it's a skull. Here we've got postcrania from another duckbill dinosaur. May or may not be the same species. We'll have to see. They might be separated by as much as 1 million years, because we are significantly lower in section over here. Lower? Yes, significantly lower in section over here, I think. So yeah, this one might be as much as 1 million years older than that one, I think. Yeah, anyway. Good stuff. And how do you go about flipping it without causing damage? Well, I'll show you, Jim. There actually was a little bit of damage today that couldn't really be avoided based on a lot of different things going on in the quarry, including some roots that were basically, inside one of the bones. So one of the trochanters came off, but they should be able to put it back on in the laboratory later. The important thing is I got the whole thing consolidated with glue, and yeah, it's looking good. So we're going to top jacket that in just a few minutes. Yeah, postcrania ridge. This site is called T-bone, Oliver. Yeah. And Be More Nibble says, hi, I hope you're well and having much success on the dig. Yeah, both. I am doing well, and it's been a very successful dig so far. Thank you for the well wishes. Yeah. But yeah. And Dr. Terminator says, what makes Albertosaurus and Gorgosaurus so different from Daspletosaurus in a niche setting? We don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. Could be some of them were eating Hadrosaurs, some of them were eating Ceratopsians. Could be a geographic difference. Not really sure. Yeah. In fact, I don't even really remember what distinguishes Albertosaurus from Gorgosaurus. I think it's probably stratigraphic. Yeah, I think they lived at different times. One of them is the ancestor of the other. But yeah. Trappy, welcome Trappy. Trappy says, that's crazy, you can walk half a block and travel 1 million years back in time. Well, this is not half a block. This is several miles. But still, there are places in the world where you can you can walk half a block and travel several billion years in time. There are places in the Grand Canyon that are, I think, well, maybe not a billion, but there's a big unconformity in the Grand Canyon where you go from like Precambrian rocks up to like Triassic rocks or something. So that's several 100 million years there. Jump. So yeah. And Thalos says the femur the other day looked curved on screen. Was that a trick of the camera, or was it actually like that? Probably both, Thalo. This is a fisheye lens, so some things will look a little bit curved here. Like if you look out at the horizon, there might be a little bit more of a curve than there would be otherwise. That's hard to say because we've got all these ridge lines and everything. But yeah, and that actually wasn't a femur. I thought it was a femur. I flipped it today. That thing's a tibia. A big honkin' tibia. The tibia is shin bone right here. You've got your tibia, and then on the other side you've got your fibula. So this is the tibia, and there's something weird going on with it. There might be a fibula alongside it. I'm not going to field prep the thing because I don't want to damage it. But, yeah. It's interesting, whatever it is. Good afternoon to you too, Brannington. Welcome. Retzel says someday dinosaurs will return. They don't have to. We still have dinosaurs. We call them birds. Welcome, Retzel. It's good to have you here. Yeah. And let's see. Jim says, what a chonker. Who, me, Jim? Goodness. What a way to talk to your streamer. And Claire Burr, I'm glad you are settled. Once again, let me announce it is Claire Burr's birthday today, now that we've got over 100 people watching, 134. So yeah. Yeah. And Lenina says, happy birthday, Golganek. Wait, is it Golganek's birthday too? Do Claire Burr and Golganek share a birthday? Holy cow. And Juice Overdrive, thank you for the 2 months of Prime there. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Welcome back to Paleontologizing, Juice Overdrive. Yeah. And holy moly, it's Golganek's birthday too? That is incredible. Happy birthday to Golganek and Claire Burr. Wow. June 27th, is it? Let me look. Yep, June 27th. It's a good day to be born, I suppose. Yeah. Fantastic. Anyway. An exotic kitty. What's the temperature there today? Somebody can do the command for that. I'm sort of near Green River, Wyoming. So you can type ! weather, Green River, Wyoming. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, Beelzebub, welcome. And good stuff. Let's go ahead and go over there and start working on this thing because, shoot, I need to get this done before the end of the day. So I can't really, can't dally on that. Let's go take a look. Yeah. As he says, have I ever found dinosaur tracks alongside body fossils? Not alongside, no. They're usually different kinds of depositional environments. I found dinosaur tracks and I've found dinosaur bones and teeth and other stuff, but never at the same site. And again, there is Fisher and Eric, hard at work there. How you guys doing?
Good.
All right. So I'm going to set the camera down here and I'll get to work on this. Top jacketing our tibia. Take a look at that. Holy cow. So you can tell it's a tibia because of the way that it kind of twists. So there's one of the articular ends. That is the distal end, I believe. And then it kind of like twists as you go up the shaft. Up there. Yeah. So again, this is the shin bone. There's two shin bones in tetrapod animals. You've got the tibia, and then alongside it you got the fibula. This is the big one, the tibia, right here. Pretty impressive. And so I flipped this earlier. And there we go. So this is upside down. Remember we jacketed this on stream the other day. And flipped it, and holy cow, it was a difficult flip. And this bone, most of it was exposed like this when we flipped it. this part, this trochanter came off right here. But I'm just going to leave it like that for now. And that can be fixed in the laboratory under controlled conditions. But there are all of these roots in between, and that's one of the reasons why this had come off. Was this plant was just absorbing minerals, just eating up this bone. So yeah. Good stuff. That wasn't a raindrop, was it?
Oh, it was. Yeah, I'm feeling it.
Uh-oh. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to be bad. Let's hope. Let's hope. I don't know. That over there on the horizon. Well, I'm going to get started jacketing this. Because what else are we going to do? Alright. Put this here just like that. And set this down. There we are. Alright, so everybody who's been here for a while, you remember how jacketing works. Yeah. But yeah. And kitchen tent stream, the kitchen tent's like 6 miles away and we don't have a truck here. We got dropped off, so we can't do a kitchen tent stream right now, Beelzebub. We're here. Yeah, let's put some separator on this bad boy. So we've only got a little bit of paper towel. I thought we had more, but we don't. And Fisher very kindly donated some of his TP, and so we'll be using that also. And just putting it onto the bone mostly. We want to make sure that the plaster doesn't stick to that. It can stick to some of the matrix and we'll be fine, but it cannot stick to the bone. So yeah. Get some water into this basin. There we are. So I'll use this paintbrush to tamp it down. And we're going to put a layer of separator on here, keep the bone nice and safe. It's funny, the forecast today said 0% chance of rain.
Yeah.
0% chance my eye.
Doesn't seem too bad yet, so.
Yeah, hopefully this will just pass in a minute or two. You know, Wyoming weather can be very unpredictable. Just like Montana weather, as I learned when I lived there for the better part of a decade. And Oliver says, does the paper towel work better than, say, newspaper? I find that it does, just in that it's thicker. Yeah, but other crews use newspaper. That was much more common to use in, like, Barnum Brown's day, for instance. But some crews still use newspaper today. But newspapers are actually kind of harder to find than they used to be. So, just acquiring newspaper in the first place is, yeah, that can be a challenge in itself, I suppose. Whereas paper towel has all kinds of different uses, and we usually have it in camp anyway. Just make sure that we get a lot so that we can use it for jacketing also. There we go. see. Blanco Flea says, "Sir, you don't have to call me sir. My goodness, we don't put on airs here. How long does a dig take? It depends on what your budget is and what your crew availability is, and it depends on the weather, a bunch of different things. So we're going to be out here, let's see, we've been out here for 2 weeks so far. Me, Fisher, and Ethan have, at least. And we've... What's that?
Quinn too.
And Quinn also, yeah. Quinn left with us. And I take off on Friday. Ethan will probably take off a few days after that. So all told, this will be, I think, a little over 3 weeks. For the people who are staying the longest. Yeah. But I've been on cruise before. We've been out for like 3 months, hopping around to different sites and different field areas. But yeah, which is actually what I'm going to be doing this summer. So I'm also going to be going down to eastern Utah and digging there for about 3 weeks or so. 3 weeks to maybe a little over 3 weeks. Yeah. And let's see. Brown butcher paper, basil. That I don't think would work as well as paper towel or even newspaper. Because butcher paper is can be kind of thick and rigid. You would need a lot of water to get it to conform to the shape of the bone, which is what we need to do. That's why I'm tamping it down with a wet paintbrusher. So I don't think that would work as well. Also, it's more difficult to acquire. I don't think we can just roll into town and buy a giant thing of butcher paper at Walmart. Oh, why not use a waterproof separator like foil or plastic? That's a good question, Jim. The idea is you want the plaster to stick to the separator. And if it's a waterproof thing like aluminum foil or plastic, it will not do that. And so you can get weird gaps in your jacket and things can fall apart. I have seen crews use aluminum foil, but I don't think that works nearly as well. And also it's a lot more expensive. And we got to be really budget conscious on a crew like this, because as most of you probably know already, if you've ever seen my streams before, paleontology is a very underfunded science. And yep, Hadrosauridae, Rel Jenkins, yes indeed. What you're witnessing is the excavation of a new duckbill dinosaur. Never before seen. Well, maybe kind of before seen, but never published on. This is probably well, it may or may not be the same one that Barnum Brown dug up in this formation back in 1937. But he never published on that. It doesn't have a name or anything. So, yeah, this is new to science. Alright, nice. And no, we're not going to name it Twitchosaurus Tilkes. Even though that would be amusing, potentially. And Toggy says, I can see that opening a whole can of worms. Sony Dactyl, Microsoft Raptor. There are actually a few dinosaurs that have been named after companies before. There's Quantasaurus, which is a little ornithopod from Australia, which is almost certainly the same critter as Whaleonosaura. And, let's see, there's got to be a few others. What's that?
Isosaurus?
I think Isosaurus is named after an Indian deity, right?
No, it's named after it's named after a company there. Not remember what.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. There's Gasosaurus from China, and that's named after. I think it was found on the land of a gas company, so they named it Gasosaurus. But that's a theropod, I think, from like the maybe Middle Jurassic of China. Yeah. Makeaway asked, does this layer make the plaster jacket more easily removed? In part, yeah. It's also just we're trying to keep the bone and the matrix separate from the burlap and plaster. Yeah. Alright, that's it for our paper towel, except for this one. We got almost the whole thing covered with that. I might not even need all of your TP, Fisher.
That would be fortuitous.
Yeah. Oh yes, an Atlas Copcosaurus, of course, Alex Fixon. Named after Atlas Copco, which is like a mining company or something? What was it? Yeah. And I think that bird that you're hearing, Miss Yvette, is a rock wren, probably. Although I've got the router in the rock wren's favorite spot, unfortunately. It's just a good, like, lookout point. And, stay. Anyway, I'm sure the rock wren isn't super happy about that. Oh, and Kennedy, this is correct, yeah. The paper towel tube does have a name. There's a term. Do you know what the term is for this?
I actually don't know.
This is called a durder. Because you stick it up to your mouth and you go, dur dur dur. I learned that from Kevin Padian, actually. There's this episode of Paleo World where he's talking about pterosaurs. And he's like holding up this pterosaur humerus, I think. And he goes, the walls of this are so thin, they're about the same dimension as a durder. A durder is one of those paper towel tubes that you put up to your mouth and you go, dur dur dur. That's what this thing is like. And so that's become kind of a meme on my channel. So yeah. Cheers there. Was it Kennedy who pointed that out? Dur dur dur. Yeah. Anyway, I looked it up on Urban Dictionary, and like, there are a lot of people who actually call it a durder. He didn't just make that up.
Huh.
Alright. Thank you for not giving me used TP, Fisher.
Yeah.
This is a plus for sure. You know, on a crew with a small budget like this, sometimes we have to use TP 2 or 3 times before we throw it out. Not really. We would have to do that if it weren't for all of your financial support, chat, so thank you. see. FMS's cases, I think there's an error in the matrix. No, that's a bone there in the matrix. That's why we're here, you know? All right, looking good, looking good. I'm happy about this. Just a little bit more paper. There we are. Nice. That's good enough. Let's mix up some plaster. How long do you estimate this dig taking? Well, Ready Brick, we're getting this out today. This is a site that we will have to come back to next year because we're not going to be able to get all the bones out this season. We've got maybe about a week left, and I only have 3 days left here. Let's see, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I leave Friday. Yeah. Today's Tuesday.
Plant specimen over here.
A recent one?
Decent.
Oh, decent. That's much cooler than a recent plant specimen. Yeah, let's take a look.
It looks like there's a lot of wood or something here, but then there's this.
Ooh. Okay. Nice spot.
Started here and it's just going on.
Cool. I mean, if you can carefully chip that away, that would be worth collecting for sure. Cool. Eric's got a plant fossil over there. I don't know what kind, but he's going to dig around and maybe we can figure that out. But yeah. Anyway, and Lordy, how are you doing? Welcome. And Durandal the Sword. Yes, this is upside down right now. So earlier in the stream, you can go back and watch the VOD later. You saw the tibia right here, all smooth and beautiful there. So that was at the bottom. This the plaster that you see here, that part of the jacket was the top. We flipped it, and now we're going to do a bottom jacket here. Yeah. Yeah. TGI Rex says, will this skeleton be part of a museum or will it be kept behind the scenes? That's the same thing, TGI Rex, yeah. Most of the specimens in a museum are not on display. It'll be like 99% of the specimens are actually, back in the collection drawers, away from public view, just because there's limited space and yeah. But who knows, if this thing does turn out to be a new dinosaur and if there's enough of it, and if the museum wants to put it on display, it very well might be on display at some point in the next several years. Yeah. But yeah. Let's see here. Let's mix some plaster. I'm gonna set down my phone over here. There we go. And take off my watch. This is custom. Also, I don't want to get plaster all over my watch. Put that right there. And I gotta make sure I've got enough burlap. Shoot. I might need to cut some more strips. Let's see here. Alright. Looks like we're working. Excellent, back online. Sorry about that, everybody. Starlink issues. But just cutting up some burlap, and then we're gonna jacket this thing. So yeah. Yeah. very irregular strips this time, but it'll work. And we're getting some raindrops. There we go. Looks like we still got 146 people here, so thank you for everybody who stuck around. Excellent. Yeah. And hang on, I'm going to change this away from dark mode because I can't see it in dark mode when it gets covered with dust. That's much better. Yeah, nice. Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to soak these strips in some water, then I'm going to mix up some plaster, and we're going to jacket this thing. Go. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. And who's here with me today? Jody Fish. We've got Fisher and we've got Eric. Fisher, who's been here the whole time. Fisher I worked with last summer, also in Utah. And then Eric just showed up yesterday. He's from Utah. Paleontology student. But yeah. And everybody, don't freak out about the clouds. You're not even here. We're going to work here no matter what happens right now, so just make the most of it, okay? Yeah. Let's wring these out individually. That's a weird looking strip, but it's gonna work. Orange Otter Pop says, cool, he is wearing real-life Jurassic Park clothes. I'll choose to take that as a compliment, Otter Pop. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Well, this is about as real as it gets. We're digging up a real new dinosaur here. And what will almost certainly be a new dinosaur. There we go. All right, and this is what we call burlap tea right here. Anybody want a swig of this?
Yum.
You good, Fisher? So that will probably make this plaster set up a little bit faster, which is good. I like my plaster to set quickly. That's good. Alright, I'm gonna start mixing her up. I'm keeping one hand dry in case I need to reach into the plaster bag again, which I will have to do. That's not enough plaster. Yeah. And if there's a tibius or an associated fibula nearby, Jody Fish, the other small bone from the other day might be a fibula. We'll have to see. There's also a weird bone inside that jacket, which could also be a fibula, but it looks really, really... I think it might just be a part of the tibia that's broken off. But I guess we'll find out once this thing gets prepped in the lab. Alright, mix this in. That might do it. And this is true, Belargosaur. Yep, the paper towel there acts as a layer of separator between the bone and the matrix, the bone and the matrix combined, and the plaster-soaked burlap. And I'm going to need some more plaster in here. It's still not viscous enough. Let me mix some more in. Try that. Hopefully that'll do it. Yeah. Megalodon says, quite impressive trying to find bones lost for millions of years when I can't even find my keys. Well, yeah. We're pretty careful that we don't misplace these things. Well, welcome, Megalodon. I like your username. It's good to have you here. Yeah. And the bones have any kind of noticeable scent when they're out and on display or being worked on. In the laboratory they will. They'll smell like the field. So they'll smell like sandstone and dust and dirt. Sometimes they smell like sagebrush. Hell Creek bone, when I've actually dug it out in the field, it does have kind of a distinctive smell. Kind of like a really... It's an earthy smell that it almost smells like, you know, like... when there's a rainstorm approaching and then you kind of smell the rain in the air, it kind of smells like that. But that's just in the Hell Creek. I haven't noticed that here with these bones. Different formations are going to have different lithologies, different preservation for their bones. Bones will often be different colors. And that occasionally gets reflected in different smells. Yeah. I've ever broken an important fossil. Yes, several times, Teddy Ruxpin. I did just the other day. Sometimes it's just kind of inherent to digging something up. Like, you might break off a piece of it while you're looking for it, you know? Like, sometimes we call that the tool mark of discovery. It happens, like, a lot. You try and keep that to a minimum, and you try and repair it as best you can. Well, there was part of that trochanter on that tibia actually broke off while we did the flip today, while we were flipping the jacket. And, yeah, so they'll have to fix that in the lab. But there are all of these roots going through it, and Yeah, it really couldn't be avoided. Man, this is going to be some thick stuff.
Sometimes you even have to break bone in order to get it into a small enough jacket.
Exactly, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're getting some more water now. Actually, no, we're going to be fine. Yeah, mustard bottles have not come out yet, Tommy Platycus, no. They're back in my tent. I'll probably use those when I'm in Utah for holding glue. We've had all kinds of glue issues so far on this season here in the Almond Formation of Wyoming. We will not be having glue issues, fingers crossed, when we're in Utah later. Yeah. Do museum curators ever break things? Yeah, it happens, Teddy Ruxpin. It's not great, but mistakes do occur.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
All right. I'm trying to work out all the little lumps here, and this plaster is an excellent consistency.
Right,
It's just thin enough that I'm going to have a lot of time to work with it.
I need to see what kind of plants. I know
Yeah.
cycads, I know horsetails, and I know palms. But
All right.
it's hard to hear.
Let's roll some strips.
That's the plan.
I can move over.
It's just there's some kind of tarp we can use to catch all that.
All right.
But we're not constantly gonna brush it off.
There we are.
I could. On my knees. Sitting
Okay. So this is going to be a critical moment here, because once this goes on, it can't come back off, because it'll take the separator with it. So I'm just going to go like this. There we go. Nice. Very nice. Okay. One of the only non-ideal parts of this site is that it is downhill from the road, so we will have to carry this jacket uphill, but thankfully it is very, very close. So you win some, you lose some. I consider that a win. You're so close to the road here. All right. Another strip. Nice and thick plaster. Yeah. Beautiful. Man, I've got so much plaster here. Okay. This is going to go over the side like this. There we are. Nice. Yeah, excellent. Guess I'll check on chat, see what they're up to. Yeah. Mark Mondark, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Yeah. Yes, the sound of paleontology fieldwork, that squelching sound. Making field jackets. I'm impressed that the microphone's picking up the sounds. It's a good mic. weird shaped one. We're gonna go like this. Fold that back over like that. There we go. We're gonna have a ton of goop for this, which is good because I'm gonna need it. Get that nice and smooth. Stuff is already thinking about setting up. Gotta pick up the pace. Yeah. There we go. Nice. I'll put this on this end over here. There we go. Nice and thick for those vulnerable spots. We've got every surface covered now. Excellent. And I'm going to do one more strip because we've got it. There we are. Nice. Put that over here. Nice. Slap some goop on there. Beautiful. So ideally you won't see any of the burlap texture. It'll all be clean and white from plaster on there. The plaster provides rigidity, the burlap provides tensile strength. Keeps everything from flexing too much. Keeps it from, like, I don't know. It keeps the plaster from cracking, really, because the plaster can be brittle by itself. Plaster can add weight and brittleness. The burlap adds the actual strength to it. Yeah, two good things that just go better together. Plaster and burlap. Just smoothing this out here. This stuff is setting up. Yeah. That's how you top jacket a dinosaur. Or a dinosaur limb bone, at least. But the same process applies to if you have a whole dinosaur all articulated together. You jacket it just like this, but maybe you put reinforcing elements in it. Maybe some rebar, maybe some plywood. Something like that to give it added strength, like an internal framework, so it doesn't flex and crack. Yeah, there we go. Very nice. That is a fine looking jacket. Yeah, beautiful. All right. Look at chat. Yeah. It is kind of like Play-Doh there, lightning electron, yeah. And Little Tracy says, how is it determined which museum gets a fossil? Well, we've got to deal with a museum in Ohio, and we're collecting, all of our fossils are going to be reposited there. Yeah, this is something you work out at the very beginning when you're applying for permits and everything, to be able to dig up fossils on public land. You need to have a deal with a museum, so those fossils will be held in the public trust, so they can be studied by scientists in the present and in the future, and enjoyed by the public. So again, we're on public land right now. BLM land, Bureau of Land Management land. The BLM is a federal agency that oversees a lot of public land. It's something like 12% of the land in the US is BLM land. And in places like Wyoming, it's probably closer to like 20%, maybe even 30%, is Federal Bureau of Land Management's land. But any important, vertebrate fossils that come off of this land have to go to a museum, because they belong to we the people of the United States. They're part of our collective natural heritage, so they belong in a museum. Yeah. Oh, and under the lip needs more goop. Thank you, Golganek, Jody Fish. I didn't actually see that. Oh, we'll be fine. That's gonna be okay. Yeah. In fact, that'll also be, right here maybe. I should tamp that down. Yeah, that would have been good to put more goop there. Shoot. But we've already got the other jacket there providing strength, so I'm not worried about it at all. But just aesthetically, that would have been nice to have some goop under there. Like right here, right there. Yeah. Oh well. Hopefully these jackets won't be, looking like this for years. They'll be opened up pretty quickly and studied. Yeah. But yeah. And look at the camera, Danny. Why, Phalo? Why? Yeah, OMG, a viewer, welcome back. Good to see you. Hello, hello. Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. Yeah, so I'm just going to let that set for a while, and I'm going to drink some water. Let me do that. Be right back, everybody. Lingus says that femur looks so snug. Good. This one here, yeah, this is a tibia we found out today, Lenina. I thought maybe it was a femur. Then I thought maybe it was a tibia. Then I thought, maybe it is, another femur. But no, it's a tibia. So yeah, shin bone. Yeah. So again, for anybody who's just tuning in, welcome to Paleontologizing. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, and I'm working out here with some other paleontologists and volunteers in western Wyoming, and we are digging up some new dinosaurs. Not new in the sense that they're like new. These things are 73 million years old, give or take a few million years. But new in the sense that they're unknown to science. So just about any dinosaur that we find here is going to be, a new genus or a new species, because nobody's actually named any dinosaurs from this particular age of rocks before in this particular place on Earth. So, yeah, they're going to be new critters, which is really exciting. Yeah. But yeah. And TGI Rex, what if you bought it and you can't buy this? No, this is the property of the people of the United States. You can't, this is not up for sale, you know? So what if you were to buy it and donate it to the NHM in London? What if I were to go to your country and, buy the Queen and put her in a museum? Yeah, bring her to the American Museum of Natural History in New York. You just can't do that kind of thing. That's not how it works. Yeah. Anywho. Let's see. Can you name it? You can certainly come up with a nickname for this if you'd like, Lightning Electron. Yeah. But yeah. Couldn't they be an existing well-traveled species, says Treckner? Well, probably not, because I guess there is a chance. I suppose there is a chance that it could be like the same kind of critter that you might get in like Mongolia or something, but I don't think there are any other hadrosaurs from 73 million years ago specifically that this could be. So dinosaurs evolved pretty quickly, and I don't know if there are any other dinosaurs that are known from like the tail end of the Campanian from this exact stratum, but I could be wrong about that, It's probably going to be new, but we don't know that 100%. That's why I keep saying probably, or most likely. Yeah. Time will tell, Yeah. Glorious Sun says, Danny, are you a researcher? I am indeed. Yeah. I dig up dinosaurs, I study them, I publish on them. All that good stuff. Yeah. And it's ready to be moved now? Almost find it, fix it. We just got to wait for this to cure. So it's still a little bit... It's not quite as rigid as it will be in like an hour, maybe. But yeah, this is ready to take back to camp and then back to the laboratory in a few days. Yeah. And Bacon T-Rex says 73 million. That's hard to imagine. Wild. That's actually really recent for a dinosaur. So dinosaurs go extinct, except for birds, 66 million years ago. So 73 is pretty close to 66, right? The first dinosaurs evolved about 235 million years ago, something like that. So comparatively, compared to those animals, this is really, really young. This is much, much closer to the present day than it is to like the origin of dinosaurs. In fact, this might be closer to us than it is to dinosaurs like Stegosaurus from the end of the Jurassic, So yeah. And Pekin 93, we do have permits. Yeah, we've got an excavation permit from this site, from the Bureau of Land Management. Yes, indeed. Yeah. All right, scrolling. Any reason why not what? I didn't catch that original question. Yeah. Oh, and are we going to see you guys working on it in the lab too? I'm not going to be streaming that Find It, Fix It, no. In fact, a lot of this stuff will probably be under wraps until it gets published, but hopefully that'll happen in the next few years. Yeah. Which is actually pretty quick in the grand scheme of things. There are dinosaur fossils that were collected in the 1870s that nobody has studied or published on yet. There are jackets like this sitting in museums from the 1870s, from the days of Cope and Marsh. So yeah, this is going to be pretty speedy compared to that kind of thing. Yeah. And more digs? Yeah, I'm going to be in eastern Utah in a few weeks. Legion says, why don't we see many excavations around coastal areas? Is it because they're lost to the sea? No, there are a lot of excavations around coastal areas, yeah. They often tend to be coastal animals or shallow marine animals. Yeah, a friend and colleague of mine goes out and digs up fossil whales in the Carolinas and also along the central coast of California. Some of those are right on the beach. You can check out his blog. It's Coastal Paleo, I think, .blogspot.com or something. Bobby Bosenecker. He's a paleontologist who studies fossil whales. But yeah. Sadmi says, are you scared of snakes? No, Not in an irrational sense, at least. But I'm not going to go around sticking my fingers into any rattlesnakes' mouths or anything. I really like snakes. I think they're really cool. Yeah. Oh, they're wondering why you don't name the specimens. So this... well, we don't name the specimens because we're not a commercial outfit. That's part of it. It's kind of a commercial thing to do. Like, if you're going to end up selling the dinosaur, then you want to give it a nickname so that people get emotionally attached to it and it'll fetch more money, all that stuff. We're scientists. We're doing this for science. And so the specimen itself doesn't have a name, but the site does. We do give the sites names just so they're easier to remember. So this site is called T-Bone. It's the T-Bone site. And that's different from Skull Ridge, where I was streaming from yesterday. Yeah. But yeah. And let's see. And how often are different dinosaurs from different time periods found in the same place, like Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous, etc.? All the time, Reverse. I mean, there are places in where you've got like a boundary there between the Jurassic and the Cretaceous, or between the Triassic and the Jurassic. We actually get that in places in Utah, where you've got Morrison Formation from the Jurassic in the same valley, like maybe in the same rock units. You just go up further in the rock units and you get into the beginning of the Cretaceous, like the Cedar Mountain Formation. And we're actually going to be digging in a place like that in just a few weeks. So I can show you that. I can show you where the Morrison Formation is, and then where it contacts the Cedar Mountain Formation. So that's the Jurassic Cretaceous boundary right there. So yeah. And Kata Titoon says, how did you decide on paleontologist? What was your spark? Well, when I was very, very small, my parents tell me that I decided I wanted to be a dinosaur. And then I realized I couldn't grow up to be a dinosaur, so I decided the next best thing was to be a dinosaur paleontologist. Here we are. Yeah, I've always been intensely interested in dinosaurs, and I've been lucky enough to be able to turn that into a career and make a living doing that. So yeah. Hope that's a good answer for you. But yeah. And Claire Burr, Carnotaurus pinkish? Where'd you get that, Claire? What? We don't know what colors Carnotaurus was, I don't think. Yeah. Let's see. T-Bonodon. Boom. Dinosaur name. There you go, TGI Rex. I actually like that. T-Bonodon. The only thing is we don't have any teeth from it. Don means tooth, and so, yeah, that's not going to work. Unless we find some teeth. Yeah. And Night Streamer 21, I've gotten this question so many times over the past few days. Will AI be able to speed up and help the study and classification of dinosaur bones? I doubt it. No, because oftentimes it's almost like every dinosaur bone is unique in a certain way. And so that's not really a good problem for AI. It's something that human beings, who are, far more capable than AI, already struggle with. So, like, training AI to do it, yeah, not a chance, I don't think. Yeah. And hello, Big Daddy Poritz. How are you doing? Welcome. Oh, and very cool, Blargosaur. Yeah, I still love seeing awesome stuff like this. My fiance showed me your stream, and I'm happy to be here. I'm happy you're here, Blargosaur. Welcome. I appreciate your you sharing your story, and it's good to have you here. Welcome to the community. Teddy Ruxpin says, someday you'll be a dinosaur. Don't give up. I didn't evolve from a dinosaur. That's not my lineage, so I'll never be a dinosaur, unfortunately. I could go as a dinosaur for Halloween, though, like I did last year. But yeah. Reverse says, what's your take on the feathers versus no feathers discussion? I mean, it's not really a discussion anymore. We know that many, many dinosaurs had feathers. That's incontrovertible. We've got the fossil feathers on a bunch of different groups of dinosaurs. In fact, feathers might even be basal to Dinosauria. It might be that any dinosaurs that didn't have feathers, that was sort of a, something that they lost throughout the course of evolution. It could be that the ancestor of dinosaurs and pterosaurs both had feathers. Still kind of debating that. But yeah, we know a lot of dinosaurs did have feathers. Diplomod, this is a tibia. Yeah. Shin bone of a big duckbill dinosaur. Let me pick up the camera and go over the hill, so I'm not going to annoy Fisher and Eric any further as they are diligently digging away. Yeah. But yeah. And Maui girls, hey, Auntie, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. I hope you're doing well. It's good to have you here. Yeah. Let me put this back on. And I think I might even... Oops. Get the phone strapped back onto my arm so I can see chat. There we are. Yeah. It's plaster dust all over my setup now. But so it goes. Hopefully it doesn't shorten the life of my digital encoder. Video encoder. There we are. And there's plaster dust on the camera lens too. Well, so it goes. Yeah. Yeah. There we are. And nice. Got some nice weather coming in. What's our battery at over here? 33%. Oh, shoot. It's not sunny enough for us to be making a profit on energy right now. That solar panel can't do very much with cloudy skies. But there's the Starlink. This is why I can stream to you right now. Yeah, whoops. Hopefully I didn't just screw it up. I walked in front of the satellite dish. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. And we've got 321 people watching right now. Holy cow. Amazing. I'll clean that lens later. Hopefully it's not too irritating seeing plaster dust on the camera lens. But yeah. But yeah, and it did study for a second. There you go. Yeah. 375. Excellent. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, if anybody's just tuning in, let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, and I'm out here in western Wyoming doing some dinosaur paleontology. It's such a privilege and an honor to be able to stream to you from the field as we're digging up some new dinosaurs here. So I and my crew of paleontologists and volunteers are we're working in the late Cretaceous Almond Formation, which is really obscure. Not a lot of people know about the Almond Formation, even among professional dinosaur paleontologists, because it's very understudied. There's actually not a single dinosaur that's been named from the Almond Formation, which is really exciting because it means that anything that we dig up here is almost certainly going to be a new species. Dinosaurs evolve pretty quickly. They do not stay the same over millions of years. They're constantly changing. And so we don't have any from this particular time and place yet. So chances are they're going to be brand new. So here we're digging up a duckbill dinosaur. It's probably going to be new. This is the T-bone site. Different site from what I was streaming at yesterday. So here is all post-crania so far. We've got some limb bones of this big duckbill dinosaur, and it was big. Just like at the other site with our other duckbill, this animal is probably about 40 feet long, like 13 meters or more. Enormous animal, like T-Rex sized. Big old plant-eating duckbill dinosaur. And since we only have the postcrania, the bones behind the head so far, it's really difficult to tell what kind of a duckbill dinosaur it is. Is it one of these ones with a big elaborate crest, like a lambeosaur? Is it like a saurolophine? Is it a cretosaur or critosaur? Tomato, potato? We're not sure yet. But when these bones get back to the laboratory and we're able to get them cleaned off and study them in greater detail, hopefully we'll be able to figure that out. Yeah. But, yeah, you're digging up a bus. It's same size, basically, Bacon T-Rex. Yeah. It's all disarticulated, though. So, yeah. It's scattered over a wide area. In fact, there are bits and pieces of it coming down over here, too, and I can show you some of those. Let's go get them. Mostly full skeleton. We're not even sure yet, Reader Geek. Yeah, really not sure. Because we only have a few bits and pieces, and we're not going to be able to really figure that out this summer, because we're running out of time. We've got a few days left at this site, maybe. And this is probably going to be a few summers worth of work to do here in the future. Let's walk down into the wash here. Hopefully we will continue to have signal. And let me show you some of the bits of bone that are eroding out on the surface. Kind of walk you through how you find a dinosaur in the first place. Yeah. Reader Geek says, how do we support your digs? I mean, well, shoot. We had a big fundraiser on experiment.com. That command might still work, actually, if somebody wants to pull that up. But that's already done. If you want to support this further, then, well, shoot, you can subscribe to this channel, and that'll certainly help me out. And I can buy some food for the crew. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. Kings of Watt 12 says, how much do paleontologists make per year? It depends. Most paleontologists do not make very much. It's actually kind of shameful. Like, we ought to get paid more, because it's hard to make a living as a paleontologist, honestly. Yeah. Here, let's look for some of these cairns where Fisher had found some of these elements. So we've got one right there, but I didn't see any bone there. That may have already been collected. But when we're out looking for dinosaurs, this is how we do it. There's no advanced technology, there's no, fancy gadgets or anything like that. No ground-penetrating radar, no LiDAR, no sonic imaging or anything like that. Use the old Mark I eyeball. So basically you walk around and you stare at the ground. You see all these different rocks and stuff here. If something looks unusual, you pick it up and you look at the texture, you look at the shape, you look for symmetry. So this is a rock. Not a bone. Bone has a very distinctive texture. And when I find some, I will point it out to you. I hope Fisher didn't already collect all of this, because he was here yesterday and I was not. There will be bone in that bag up there, that Ziploc bag. But hopefully we won't have to resort to opening that. Let's look around some more. When I was here a few days ago, we were picking it up all over the place. I think it may have already been collected. Let's see. Looking for more cairns over here. Yeah. Yeah. So there's some bone right there. Yeah. So this is dinosaur bone. You can tell based on how it is. No, it's this texture right here. So if you're familiar with what modern bone looks like, fossil bone can look a lot like that. You get these kind of striations that run across it, like this. And that is the texture of bone. And so this is, when we discover a new dinosaur, this is usually how it starts. There's just a few fragments like this that you find coming down a hillside, like this one. And so you find a fragment here, a fragment there, you follow them up, and you try and see where they're going into the hill. Basically where they stop, you dig in right there and hopefully you find an associated skeleton. Or at least enough remains to be able to identify what kind of creature it is. Yeah, so that's some dinosaur bone right there. I've got some more. No, that's a rock. Yeah. So yeah, it might not look like much. It might not seem super exciting, but that's how it works. Yeah. And ZXSQ says, is the dig ending because of permits or weather or funding? Yeah, funding. So we had enough funding for basically like 3 weeks, a little over 3 weeks. We had to rent a truck, get a bunch of food in order to feed the volunteers and everybody. So yeah. And we had to buy a bunch of equipment also, so that cut into our budget too. Had to get a rock saw, had to get digging equipment, tools, plaster and burlap and all that stuff. Oh, there's a lizard going by. Zoom. Hey, lizard friend. I don't know if you could see him, but he's pretty cool. Yeah. I would go approach him, but he's just going to dive under that rock, and then you won't be able to see. Anyway, yeah. That, and also, we're going to be working at another site with the Utah Geological Survey in just a few weeks. So we basically had to get this done before we can go do that. So that's Ethan's, job. That's what he gets paid to do with the Utah Geological Survey. And I'm going to be volunteering there. I think we leave on, July 17th. We'll be there for between 3 weeks and a month. And I'll be streaming from there, too. Yeah. And I am not from Wyoming. I am from California, Burl Beats. Yeah. This is actually the first time I've ever done fieldwork in Wyoming. And it's been cool. I like it so far. Wyoming's beautiful. Yeah. Menoides says the only reason I like my state fossils. There's other things that Wyoming has. There's a good state flag. Got a bison on it. Oh! Bird of prey. Who is that? Is that a falcon? Over there. Just came tearing over the hillside. Enjoying that wind. Yeah, that's a modern dinosaur, everybody. And no joke, birds are living dinosaurs. Yeah, that's why so many dinosaurs had feathers. It's because birds evolved from one small group of feathered meat-eating dinosaurs. Anyway, yeah. Bird's first Twitch stream. There you go, little Teresa. I think you're right. Yeah. And there's definitely more wind than people out here. Wyoming is the least populous state. Out of all 50 states in the United States, Wyoming has the fewest people. What's the population? It's 500,000 or something? There are more people who live in San Francisco than in the entire state of Wyoming. More people who live in a 7x7 square mile area than in, the entire state of Wyoming. It's crazy. Yeah. Cosmo Bulldog says, so if we raise enough money, can we start Jurassic Park? Come on, I can't be the first to ask. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. You can definitely clone dinosaurs based on DNA found in mosquitoes. But first, we got to dig up a whole bunch of dinosaurs here, and I'll need some funding for that, So, yeah. That's how we'll do it. Let's fund some field paleontology first. Then we can get around to trying to clone the dinosaurs a little bit after that, Yeah. But yeah. And we're getting a raid here. Excellent. Welcome, raiders. Gian Marley, what's shaking? It's good to have you here. You're the one who raided, right? Yes, thank you, Gian Marley. Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's great to have you here. I hope your stream went really well, first of all. Tell me about it. I want to hear all about it. But welcome to the desert of western Wyoming, where I'm here with my crew digging dinosaurs. We've got what'll probably be a new species of duckbill dinosaur that we're digging up. Earlier in the stream, I was putting a protective plaster jacket around its tibia or shin bone so we can get that safely back to the laboratory. And so everybody in chat got to watch that. It was a lot of fun. Very messy. That's why my hands look like this right now. There's plaster dust all over them. But yeah, I've been out here for about 2.5 weeks at this point, I think. Something like that. Haven't had a shower since I left. So yeah, this stuff builds up. But it's all worth it to be able to be on the cutting edge of science, to be able to discover and dig up new dinosaurs. It's pretty excellent. And I'm really, really happy to be able to share that with all of you. All 514 people watching right now. Holy cow. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Anywho, yeah. And I've not met up with Dean Lomax. No, he's down in Utah right now. I'm up in Wyoming. Yeah, it'd be cool to run into him. I will be in Utah in a few days, but I probably won't run into him. I don't know. We'll see. And TJ Rex says, I can fully fund your dig for a further 3 years. And you own an island off the coast of Costa Rica. Do you now? Well, yeah, we'd love your funding. Yeah. Minoides says, do you get nice soft hands after that? No. It really dries out your hands, actually. So I'll try and put some lotion on them later. Yeah. Haven't showered for about a week. No, almost 3 weeks, Arle. Almost 3 weeks, I think. Let's see, I took my last shower on the 11th, I think. And today's what, the 27th? So yeah. More than 2 weeks. But I've got plenty of wet wipes back in my tent, and I make sure I, clean off. But man, a shower is sounding really, really good right now. For certain. Yeah. Dig site must smell fantastic. I mean, out here in this beautiful landscape, you really don't even notice it, So much fresh air that, yeah, it's not even really a thing. But yeah. See, what time is it right now? Let me check, because I think we might be taking off around 6. It's 6:02, okay. Did I get a text from Ethan? Nope. Yeah. Anywho, yeah. And don't stand downwind of him. I can assure you, I do not smell particularly bad right now. I've been very studious about using those wet wipes and, antiperspirant and everything. And, yeah. I smell great right now. I don't know what you're thinking, Chad. Yeah. And we don't have any DNA from dinosaur skeletons yet, chat username. Unfortunately, DNA seems to degrade really, really quickly. And so, dinosaur fossils, which are at least 66 million years old, they are way, way too old to have any DNA. And we know because we've checked. Many, a lot of crews have tried to extract DNA from dinosaur fossils. It just doesn't seem to be possible. DNA degrades way too quickly for that. Within a million years, it's already all gone, pretty much. Yeah. You can get certain soft tissues, maybe collagen fibers, maybe even proteins and stuff, but not DNA itself. Genetic material is very fragile. Yeah. Anyway. And Cliff says, is it easy for you to find maps of this area from previous searches? No, actually, Cliff. This area was pretty much... You could say it's largely unexplored. A crew hasn't really worked in these rocks since 1937. And, yeah, since Barnum Brown came through here, the man who discovered Tyrannosaurus Rex. So yeah, and he did not take particularly good notes or anything, and he definitely didn't have GPS back then. So Ethan and the crew actually relocated a couple of sites that he had worked, and they even found an old rusty bucket that his crew left here. Maybe a few other bits of trash. But yeah. This is basically for most intents and purposes, this is unexplored territory, Yeah. And Katatoon says, how does one become a volunteer for such digs? Usually you gotta kind of know somebody, and yeah. But there are places where you can volunteer here in the U.S. If you've ever wanted to volunteer on a dinosaur dig, you should look up the Hanksville Burpee Quarry near Hanksville, Utah. The Burpee Museum out of Rockford, Illinois, they send a crew of paleontologists out there every summer, and they need volunteers. So Burpee, B-U-R-P-E-E, Dinosaur Quarry. The Hanksville Burpee Dinosaur Quarry. Look it up if you're interested. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. And the plant specimen from earlier, eggy bat. Well, yeah, we'll see if we can see that. Let me go up there and we'll take a look. Yeah. There. Let's see if you can spot any bone on the way up. Oh, was that some bone? No, that's a rock. Yeah. Anything cool and new up there, guys?
What?
Anything cool and new up there?
More of the plant.
More of the plant? Let's take a look at that plant. Yeah. We've got some chatters who are intensely interested in this Cretaceous plant.
You want to show them the plant?
I do want to show them the plant. All right, here's Fisher and here's Eric. And, ooh.
It's going pretty deep in there.
It is, wow. These fronds here.
There's a
It could be a
spot that
palm
looks
or
like
something.
It's got leaves. You might want to look a little closely.
Yeah.
You see what I'm talking about?
Right here?
Right in between that first one you touched.
Uh-huh.
It's like right next to it.
Like here?
Your left.
My left.
About there.
About here. Oh yeah, look
See
at
what I'm
that.
talking about?
See those fibers right there?
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Really neat.
Quite a bit thicker than I thought.
Good find, Eric, yeah. I wonder what this is going to turn out to be. I mean, if we can't collect it, we will make sure that we just really well photograph it. Or photograph it really well. But, yeah, very cool. If we've got any paleobotanists in chat. Yeah. What does that look like?
Yeah, we were thinking palm frond.
That was my first thought because of these. We could have various pieces of different plants mixed in. Like this could very well be another kind of plant.
I don't know. I didn't find very many other plants all around here.
Yeah.
I think that these are all connected.
Uh-huh.
Like maybe one specimen.
Very cool. So yeah, fossil plant 73 million years old. Give or take, maybe a million years or so.
Hey, it's in the same layer as dinosaurs. What else could it be?
Yeah. Very nice. Cool stuff. Good find, Eric. Yeah. Anything new over here, Fisher?
Not since that tooth I got this morning.
Ah, so Fisher found a crocodile tooth. Oh yeah, let's see that if you want to show it off.
Pull it out.
Yeah.
The bag is labeled fish teeth, but
Ooh. Well, crocodiles are very derived fishes.
yeah.
Like all tetrapods are, but yeah, look at that. It's the pointy end. Very nice. Little tooth from a crocodile, 73 million years old. So yeah, things like that can actually give us a clue as to what this environment would have been like during the time these dinosaurs were walking around. So yeah, we know that we have crocodiles here. We know that we've got some kind of plant. If we can figure out what kind of plant, it can tell us what the climate was like. And then...
Crocodile would probably tell you it's at least warm.
Exactly, yeah. You're not going to have crocodiles out on the frozen tundra or anything, so...
It's funny,
This is probably-
Carowitz has hordes of crocodiles, but like Dinosaur Park has only a few.
Yeah.
To get an idea.
It also tells you that, you know, you'd have a lot of moisture here. Usually you don't find crocodiles in the middle of a desert or something like that unless there's a lot of water. So yeah. So all these things give us clues as to what this environment would have been like. It's all important. And, yeah. And so again, there's our big tibia that we were jacketing earlier. Just returning to that. Yeah. So this is what I was doing earlier in stream. Like, started this right after Starlink came back on, after it cut out on us. And then that right there, this could be a fibula, although it's a little short for that. Could be part of an ischium, like a hip bone. Seems to have an articular end over there. And then it goes in. We've got some dirt that fell on top of that because Fisher was moving some overburden earlier. So we'll just clear that off, and maybe tomorrow I can get that one out. We'll have to see. So yeah. But yeah, fancy plaster jacket says confused echidna. Thank you. Yeah. Say it looks pretty good. And we should be able to get this one out today. Let's see how it's... Yeah, it's setting up really well. It's gonna be heavy, but it's pretty short walk up to the road. So yeah, we should be able to get that out today. Exciting stuff. But yeah, that begs for jacket art. It does, Golganek. Maybe I can do some art on this one. That would be pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. Bearbold says, how small can a fossilized creature be and still be distinguishable? It could be a single cell. There's a lot of single-celled organisms that fossilize. Things like foraminifera and diatoms and radiolarians. There's a whole exciting world out there in micropaleontology. And, yeah. Those critters can be really, really useful for telling what ancient climates were like, and they're also really useful for biostratigraphy, since they evolve really quickly. You can, if you don't have like a good radiometric date on a set of rocks, but you have good radiolarians or foraminifera or diatoms, then you can actually, yeah, figure out what age those rocks are, if they have well-studied microfossils in them. So yeah. And Cosmo Bulldog says, so if dinosaur bones are unique, as he said earlier, how do you know this leg bone is from a duckbill? They're pretty distinctive. It's definitely not a ceratopsian tibia, and it's definitely from a like an ornithischian dinosaur, one of the bird-hipped dinosaurs, which oddly enough don't actually include birds. But yeah. So far, all of the material that's come from down there looks like it's also from a hadrosaur, from a duckbill dinosaur. And we've even got part of a jaw with the tooth rows in it, like the tooth sockets in it. Kind of like the one I was showing you yesterday at the other site. So yeah, it's pretty distinguishable as, pretty diagnostic as hadrosaur. Yeah. So yeah, good question. Yeah. And bird hip thing was very confusing. Yeah, Valiant Cheese, that's definitely a thing. The lizard-hipped dinosaurs are actually the ones that birds evolved from and not the bird-hipped ones. It's, it does get confusing for sure. Yeah. So yeah, any other questions, let me know. And, I'll do my best to answer them for you. And then we'll think about wrapping this up in a while. But yeah. Dinosaurs are weird, Confused Echidna. They certainly are. Holy cow. Weird and cool. It's pretty interesting that there was this group of animals that ruled the earth for 150 million years. And then one day just, bow! They're gone. Well, not just them, it was like most of their neighbors also went extinct too. When that asteroid hit, it was like between 70 and 80, maybe even 70 and 90% of life on Earth went extinct when that asteroid hit. So yeah. Yeah, where do they sell those uniforms? This is not a uniform, Jeremy. These are military surplus clothes and stuff. I don't know. Yeah, and this is my hat. I've had this hat for a long time. It's like 16 years. Anyway, I found some clothes that work for me and been using them ever since, you know? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. And the stargazing is pretty awesome. Yes, indeed. It's crazy the number of satellites that we see, actually. So, like, when you've got a really, really dark night sky, you just get satellites crisscrossing and you can pick them out really, really easily. A lot of shooting stars, also. You know, a lot of meteors. But yeah. And Cliff says, with so many animals going extinct at the same time, there must be sites that are loaded with fossils. There are, but that's not because the creatures are going extinct. Creatures are always living and dying and fossilizing. It's not like we have more fossils from the boundary. In fact, if anything, we kind of have fewer. Like, I don't know, we're talking about millions of years of time and then like a single year in which all these things went extinct, probably. Or at least a very, very short amount of time. So, like, finding deposits from that year out of millions of years it's like finding a needle in, you know, in a whole county full of haystacks. So, yeah. Maxtavo, you love dinosaurs? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Paleontologizing. My favorite has to be T-Rex. It's a lot of people's favorites, for sure. Yeah. One of the most well-studied of all dinosaurs, actually, is Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yeah, I've dug up a few T-Rex specimens here and there over the years. Yeah. But yeah. And Tyrannosaurus does not get less awesome the more you learn about it. I agree. Yes. Yeah. It honestly gets more interesting and more awesome the more you learn about it, because there's so much. There've been so many specimens dug up and so many papers published on it. Yeah. One of the most well-studied of all dinosaurs, for sure. Yeah. And was there more than one mass extinction event? Yes, there are. Paitais, that's a great question. It's generally accepted that there are about 5 major mass extinction events. And at least if you define a mass extinction event as like more than 50% of life on Earth dies out. It's like more than 50% of species go extinct. Then there have been 5 major ones. There's the, I think, End Ordovician extinction event. There's the is it End Silurian and then End Ordovician, End Silurian, I think. And then there's the End Permian, and then the Triassic-Jurassic extinction event, and then number 5 is the one that wiped out the dinosaurs except for birds 66 million years ago, the End Cretaceous extinction event, or the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event, the KPG. Yeah. So yeah, the biggest one was the End Permian, by far. It was like over 90% of species on Earth died out. And after that, it might be... I wouldn't be surprised if the Cretaceous Paleogene is the second biggest. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're kind of undercounting it also. I don't know. I was talking with Nick Longrich about this last week, and he's convinced that, it might be as much as 90% of species died out at the end of the Cretaceous. But he's a big, he thinks that we're undersampling the diversity a lot of these geologic formations. So yeah, I guess that would lead you to believe that the extinction would have been more severe. So yeah. But yeah. What's the biggest dinosaur? Asked Max Tavo. That's a matter of debate. Because all the biggest dinosaurs are sauropods, these long-necked, four-legged dinosaurs. Dinosaurs like Argentinosaurus and Alamosaurus and I'm gonna sneeze. No, I'm not. And Dreadnoughtus and Supersaurus and other humongous dinosaurs like that. They're all sauropods. We don't know which one is the biggest because we don't have a complete skeleton of any one of those. But if you ask a lot of paleontologists, they would say Argentinosaurus or Patagotitan, one of the big titanosaurs, or maybe Alamosaurus, would have been the very largest of all the dinosaurs. Something like 130 feet long, about 70 or 80 tons, maybe more. Yeah, big animals, the largest creatures to ever walk the earth. It's pretty cool to think about. Yeah, and a pain in the butt to dig up. Luckily, we don't have any sauropods here in the Almond Formation. At least we haven't found any yet. It'd be really surprising if we found one. In the late Cretaceous of northern North America, you don't find sauropods. We're not sure why, but we just don't have them. So the biggest dinosaurs we get here are duckbills, like the one that we're digging up right now. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. And, and very cool dinosaur, Dave. Yeah, thank you. And Argentinosaurus. Yeah, where is that dinosaur from? Maybe, Bermuda? Or, I don't know, Norway? Argentinosaurus. I wonder where. Hawaii, perhaps? But yeah. And how big is this duckbill? Probably about 40 feet long. It seems pretty huge. This is actually the biggest duckbill I've ever dug up. Let me show you the tibia again. It is gigantic. It's just enormous. So yeah, this animal might be 40 feet long. Yeah. And Menoides says, what is the smallest dinosaur? I can tell you its name. The smallest dinosaur that's ever lived, as far as we know, is called Melisuga helenae. And it is still around today. Anybody know what that dinosaur is? Oh. Got this falling off on my wrist. Let me set this down for a minute and adjust my wrist strap. There we go. Yeah, the smallest dinosaur that's ever lived is Melisuga helenae, the bee hummingbird, which is native to Cuba. Yeah. There we go. There's our satellite dish and our solar panel. Hopefully generate some juice. There's Fisher and Eric working down there again. And that is the tibia, the shin bone of our dinosaur there. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Good stuff. And you think that's itty bitty Valiantes? Oh no, I know you're talking about hummingbirds. But yeah, let's go stand next to this again. So, those of you who were here earlier got to see this before the jacket went onto it. But this is the shin bone tibia of our duckbill dinosaur, and it is huge, enormous. Let's measure it out. Get our tape measure. Trying to do this one-handed while holding the camera. Let's just go like this. There you go. So that's the end of it right there. It goes until about right here. So that'll be about 107 centimeters, so over a meter long. Yeah, which is more than 3 feet long for those of you, my fellow Americans who might not be as well versed in the metric system. Yeah, big shin bone. What's my shin bone, my tibia by comparison? It's going to be about 32 centimeters. So this animal's got a shin bone that's like 3 times longer than mine. Almost. Pretty crazy. It's an animal about the size of a city bus, about 40 feet long, maybe about 13 meters from the tip of its snout to the end of its tail. So yeah, pretty cool. Yeah. The littlest hadrosaur. No, there are smaller hadrosaurs. We've got like dwarf hadrosaurs from I don't know if they're smaller than me, but from places like Romania at the end of the Cretaceous. Critters like Tethys hadros. You may know it from Prehistoric Planet 2, Tethys hadros. Yeah. And let's see. TGI Rex. I have seen the Patagotitan, but I didn't see it at the NHM in London. I saw it at the Field Museum in Chicago. They've got another cast of it there. It's pretty impressive. Yeah. And Catataton says, would it be safe to say that mostly small animals survived? Yes, at the end of the Cretaceous, when the asteroid hit, that's really the kicker. That's the pattern, is that mostly small animals survived. So all of the large dinosaurs died out, except for some of the smallest of the birds, and ones that nested on the ground. Oh, there's my sunglasses. Make sure I don't misplace these. Yeah. So yeah. Lala Carpe Diem says, what's the next piece of the duckbill that you all will unearth? Well, I've got jacketed another potential limb bone. Probably dig that out tomorrow. It's too late to do it today, because we're going to head back to camp pretty soon. As soon as Ethan shows up. But yeah. Grunchy McFluff says, is it possible intelligent civilizations were here that we can't find the record for because it was just too long ago? not because it was too long ago, but I don't know. If you had an intelligent civilization and they just didn't create any metals or change the atmosphere in a detectable way or anything, then I suppose it's possible, but it's extremely unlikely. I don't know. Like, a million years into the future, if humanity just ceased to exist, like, whatever, just poof, magic, all the people in the world gone, and then you had, you know, paleontologists show up a million years later, they would see evidence of human civilization everywhere. Even like tens of millions of years later. There's a really excellent book about this, actually, called it's called Footprints by David Farrier or something like that? Farber? Anyway, you can look it up. But it's kind of like a thought experiment, like, what sort of traces would human civilization leave for the future? And there's a tremendous number of them. So, yeah, I don't know. We can be pretty darn certain that there's never been another civilization on Earth before human civilization, you know? Yeah. But yeah. And yep, geological evidence of building and roads for billions of years, absolutely, Dinosaur Dave. Yes. Yeah. David Farrier, there we go. Yeah, Weird Ducky. Good book. Footprints in Search of Future Fossils. That's the one. Thank you, Cephalime. Yeah, good stuff. And Lenina's got the link on Thrift Books. Thank you, Lenina. I appreciate that. Yeah. So yeah, good stuff. Anyway, I need to start helping clean up the site. The plaster in the plaster basin is all dry now, so I should crack that out and start putting it into the garbage so we don't trash the site. Don't put trash everywhere. There's other stuff I need to help the other guys with, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wrap this thing up. So let me see who else is streaming right now, and we will go pay them a raid. Yeah, let's do that. Who else is on? Oh, let's go raid Astro Canuck. He's doing something Jurassic Park related. Sign me up. There we go. My channel, chat, and raid Astro Canuck. There we go. Excellent. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in today. Thank you for your viewership, and your attention, and your enthusiasm, and your questions, and for your financial support. We would not be here right now in this capacity if it were not for all of those donations that helped fund this dig in the first place. I would not be able to stream to you via Starlink with the solar generator and everything were it not for the generous support of this community. I wouldn't be on Twitch if it weren't for that support. So thank you for making all this possible, everybody. I'll see if I can stream tomorrow. No promises, but I'll try my darndest. Because I've got, 2 days left of work here, I think? Wednesday and Thursday, yeah. Before I leave on do some travel. And then I'll be streaming again from the field in mid-July, down in Utah, doing more Dinosaur Dig live streams. Anyway, everybody, we're going to go say hello to Astro Canuck. So without further ado, let's go right into him, and I'll see you later, everybody. Thanks again. Bye-bye.